Yo, what is good? This is Talks with the Reach. I'm your host, Jake. This is episode 14. I'm here with Fancy and Matt. What is good, gentlemen?
Howdy.
We have all three of our teams were in playoffs. We only have one of our teams that are currently in playoffs. Last week determined that for us. We only have 3 games left of football, which is kind of depressing. But Fancy, your team had to exit this past weekend. Talk to me about it.
We started off pretty strong. You know, if you had asked anybody, any NFL fan mid-season, if they thought the Packers and the Niners would be playing each other for a trip to the NFC Championship at the end of the season, nobody would have taken that at all. And the Packers started off great. A couple questionable calls that might have cost us some points as far as coaching goes. And just right there at the end, man, we our defense kind of couldn't keep up with Brock Purdy and McCaffrey, and McCaffrey just short of another 100-yard game, and we gave up a couple big plays, and when it came down to it for us to answer back, we had a couple interceptions. One's one of the ones where you don't really blame the quarterback as much. The second one was definitely just a bad call. It was tough to see go out like that, but that's a good learning opportunity, and I don't consider it a wasted season because nobody expected us to be there at all. So it was good. I mean, good learning experience.
Yeah,
Happy for 'em.
one thing I kind of saw out of that game is, San Francisco did not look like the juggernaut, that we've thought they could be, that they've shown at times this season. Green Bay, I think, stuck with them for most of that game. I thought they still had the chance.
We played from ahead half of the game. There's a lot of lead changes, but there was never we weren't on our against the wall until the very last minute. They scored they scored their McCaffrey scored that last touchdown to put them up by 4 with 1:07 left. And we had plenty of timeouts. And I'm not so sure we had Anders Carlson made 2 field goals and missed one. So you have to trust him,
66%.
but they were both within 30 yards, and with that kind of time, you're looking at making a 50-yarder, 50 plus, and that's a lot to put on a rookie kicker who's definitely had a lot lower success rate than many others in the league this year. There was a questionable call. I don't really want to blame any of this on any refereeing, but supposedly there's this player not getting set that they let get set that should have been a delay of game or a false start, one of the two, whichever way they would have called it first. And that was McCaffrey's big 40-yard touchdown run. And whether or not that was right or wrong, that's a huge momentum swing, and it's hard to recover, from that.
Especially on the road.
Home crowd,
Yeah.
sees their.
I swear, looking at that, I swear I saw it. I know the rules analysts always, or the referee analyst always tells us, they're trained to look at the play clock, then look at the ball.
So from what I understand on that,
You know what I mean?
it was so Juice talked about it. Kyle Juszczyk, the fullback, right? The All-Pro fullback. Basically, what happened on that play was, it was supposed to be set on another side, which would needed the tight end in motion. And before the play started, Brock Purdy audibled it to be the other side based off of what he saw. So when the tight end went in motion, because Juice told him to go in motion, Purdy stopped the tight end in motion, which is fine. And then the play started on 0, which is also legal as well, as long as it's not after 0.
Right.
So then that would end up.
Yeah,
so that was the confusion on that. But evidently,
yeah.
it was just a 5,000 IQ play by Purdy that he's not getting credit for. Is from what I saw quarterbacks talk about it, like ex quarterbacks. I saw analysis talk about it. So supposedly people were just getting mixed up because the tight end did move and then moved back, and it looked like a false start, but he was in motion and then went back, which is almost just like what Tyreek Hill does half the time.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
no,
like
yeah,
I said, I'm not blaming anything on that,
right.
Like there was definitely a lot of question about was it off in time or not, and
Yeah.
that was like the things like it was either he wasn't set or the clock was well past time to call the flag.
And then it was a play, right? I mean, so that's the difference. So
I mean, I don't know. I didn't like I said, I didn't catch that. I was like, damn, we just got to block better. We got to tackle better. We got to, we can't let them open up a hole that big. Like,
Yeah.
all I was saying,
Yeah.
as a fan that was watching at work. So I didn't remember where I was.
No, for sure. I mean, like you said, the Packers probably shouldn't have went as far as they did. The Bucks probably shouldn't went as far as they did. So as far as those seasons, come to an end, it's not like they left anything on the table. They took
Yeah.
more than what was probably thought of them. And speaking of the Bucks, though, Matt, congrats,
appreciate it.
Lions taking the win on the Bucks. Walk us. You said before we started that you almost predicted the your predictions on the 5 touchdowns. There was four and a field goal.
Yeah. So like going into the game, that was my prediction. Was I said I see it's lining up for a 5 touchdown game. We got 4 and a field goal. Looking at the usage of Josh Reynolds last game, I said he'll probably get in the end zone. He did. Same thing with Amon-Ra. He was deserving of a touchdown, and he ended up getting one as well. So I think I'm going to count it as a hit on all 3, but it was pretty darn close. So that was good. No, I mean, I think they did the things right that they needed to do to get a win. One of them was that home atmosphere. That's one of the things we talked about was that home field advantage, and they did it again. Again with the 130 some decibel, atmosphere. It makes it real hard to play in a spot like that. And I mean, don't get me wrong, Baker Mayfield, he still kind of balled out, right? He still threw for damn near 400 yards, threw a bunch of touchdowns.
He did his part, for sure.
Yeah. I mean, he was still in an atmosphere like that. You got to give him credit because he was still throwing that ball around. Mike Evans was just burning Sutton at times down that sideline, especially on those last couple drives.
Oh, when Mike missed that one too, man. Mike's had big drops this season, man. That's why we went over, not to get sidetracked, but we went over the best wide receiver. It's like a couple years ago, I'd say Mike, but it's like this year he's had some big plays just dropped. Like, and it's just but
yep. Yeah, so yeah, him. We got to look out because if Debo's back, he's back to practice now. If he's back in that game and he gets matched up, that's a touchdown 9 times out of 10. So we'll see. If Debo's back, I mean, I think we've talked about it before. San Francisco has a lot of weapons, so we'll get in that in a second. But yeah, I think Aiden Hutchinson, he balled out on defense. He played a great game. I feel like every time Tampa Bay was getting in that scenario of this second down, third down, we had a huge sack when they're in the red zone. Like it was amazing. Huh? Yeah, big sack. And it was great. That's that amazing feeling of when they're in the red zone and somehow you can sack them on second down, and now they have a 3rd and long, and they're probably looking at a field goal if anything. I think we knocked them back and they had to punt actually a couple of those times too. So defense really stepped up. Jared Goff played, just like we hoped he would. He wasn't the, 2-3 interception Jared Goff that we were hoping we wouldn't see. He was balling out as well. So that being said, it's a weird feeling. Haven't been in this spot before with the Lions, my whole life. So it's actually really
riding the high of Michigan,
Yeah, that's true. I mean, same thing there too. It's a really cool feeling. Watching a playoff game like that and them winning. I can't quite put it into words, but it is pretty cool to see your team actually get it done and now have a chance
to win.
Yeah, actually get it done to where they've got literally one game away
Yeah, they're
from
one
being
game
in the
away.
Super Bowl. So like it's pretty cool. So glad they got it done.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely was happy to see that. I think a lot of people were. I think it's one of those teams around the league that a lot of teams that are out are not rooting against you guys. You know what I mean? So it's one of those things where a lot of people are rooting for you. Um, and we'll get into our picks in a little bit, but the Texans falling short to the Ravens. You know, they held on to the Ravens there in the first half, and I felt like they were beating themselves up in that first half so much. It was just
So many penalties.
it was false start, delay a
Oh,
game,
Yep.
hold it. I'm like every time CJ Stroud went down for 40 yards, holding. Every time he went first down, for false start. Every time it's like they gain 40 and then they go back 30. It's like, and the fact that they were still at either 9-9 or 10-10 at half, and it's like when I thought that, I'm like, man, if they could just clean that up, then they have the
oh
Ravens where they
yeah,
want them. Then because but it's one of those things where you think that, but with the Ravens coming out as flat as they did, like I thought they might have with that first round bye and week 18, they didn't play their starters. They came out real flat, and the Texans had to utilize that. They had to come out, they had to capitalize on all of those opportunities, and they just fell short every time.
yeah.
You got to put up 2-3 touchdowns in that first half to really put the pressure on the Ravens, and I think that second half is different. I mean, Ravens might still win, but when you let them stay in a game like that, they had no reason to stay in the first half. You're not going to win too many football games. But it's a young team. I mean, Fancy, you you
Yeah.
said you said it in the first round against the Browns. It's a young team that's going to learn. Same thing with the Packers. Same thing with the Bucks. There's some younger guys on those teams that just don't have the experience, and those are things that you learn over time. And there was a lot of love for Lamar and CJ in that game. Both obviously have bright futures, and I mean, yeah. And then we had the Bills Chiefs game not go me and your way, Matt. We were both rooting for
Right.
the
It
Bills
should it
there,
should have. It looked like it was
and it
set up
should have.
for it,
Yeah, and
but
it should have. And it went the Chiefs' way again. Um, Not cool by the Bills Mafia throwing the ice balls and snowballs at the players when they were losing. They might have lost a little bit of love around the United States for that one, but
They're notorious for that too.
yeah, it was not a good look. But you know, on the game side, you talk about Baker, you doing everything that he possibly can, and I feel like the same way for Josh Allen too. The last time he was in this situation against the Chiefs was when they were in Kansas City, and that overtime thing kind of screwed him up, and then they changed it the next year. Where he didn't get a chance to even you know get a chance to drive his team down the field. And I feel like Josh Allen played a hell of a game. If you look back on it and look at him play, a lot of drops, a lot of situations that just are completely out of his hand. And you look at a guy that does it on through the air and on the ground, and it's like, how much more can you ask from a guy? When it's a team sport. So guys like Baker and Josh are both going home, and I feel like they really couldn't have played a better game in my opinion.
yeah.
Yeah.
So that game was weird. We saw that. What was a touchback, right? The almost
Yep.
touchdown
It
again.
was Brian Poyer, or he had that maybe it's not Brian Poyer, but Jordan Poyer, I'm sorry. Had that like strip, and then it went back through, and then they
So
didn't do anything with it.
so I'm telling you, like we think if the NFL scripted, then they would have let that stand. You know what I mean? But they let it go the Bills' way. They give the Bills an opportunity. Um, after a horrendous fake punt
Duh.
By the way,
by
I
comeback
I
player of the
said
year.
I said out loud, literally out loud, when I saw I went to Damar Hamlin, I said, "Comeback player of the year, my fucking ass." It looked like
Yeah,
the video of like It looked like the video of, like, when they let people go out there and they're, like, in a wheelchair and they're, like, pushing him, and then everyone, like, misses the tackles. Like, that's
Yeah.
what that looked like, and I'm like, it's literally the comeback player of the year, and why the fuck was he in? Like, why out of all people was he the guy? Like,
yeah. I
I
mean,
guess what happened
that
there
was
was there was only
bad.
10 people that the Chiefs came out with. So they saw an opportunity, but still,
Yeah, it
Damar
didn't
Hamlin?
look it didn't look good, right? And then they got bailed out. It goes out of the end zone for a touchback. They get the ball back somehow without Kansas City putting up points. But it comes down to you being able to kick a field goal, towards the end of the game, and he missed it. I mean, that's how heartbreaking is that for Josh Allen for the Bills?
Yeah.
You're now in the spot, and you miss such an important field goal. That's such a devastating way, for the Bills to lose that game is by missing that field goal. So,
and we see it a lot in playoffs too. We see it a lot. I remember that one year the Vikings had it where the guy missed, and it was just like it was like a chip, and he missed, and it's like, oh my goodness, and it's you're talking about how like deflating it could be. It's like you drive your team all the way down the field to give yourself a chance, and then they miss it, and then you never get to touch the football again. It's just like that itself is just I'd rather lose the way the Packers lost. Is like you guys did miss it, which sucks.
Yeah.
But it's you guys got the ball back with 3 timeouts.
Yeah.
And had time to go down the field and then just threw a bad pick. It's like I'd rather have that be my ending than like my kicker miss it and then they
No, I'd rather my offense let me down than my special teams.
Yeah.
Because it's like special teams is such a narrow
the top
range.
is the top and the bottom is the bottom. There's no mid.
It's like we don't need you much, but when we need you, god damn it, we need you.
I mean that's why Pat McAfee does his segment on game day or whatever it is, right?
Yeah.
Of letting kids come
out.
Yeah,
letting people come out and kick. He's like, you guys want to fucking fry these guys? Like, absolutely.
Yeah.
It's something. Looking at these scores from the last weekend, we've talked about before is like, we kind of agree that like the threshold for how much should you score versus how much should you stop and expect to win is like the 25 points, and it's like Green Bay, San Francisco came down to the wire 24-21. And then same with Buffalo, Kansas City. Like Buffalo is just right underneath at 24, Kansas City at 27. And it's just like, like the winners, it's just like you see that it's right there in that gray zone where it's like that's why. And you can look back at a few plays that might have added or taken away points.
Yep.
And that's the difference. It's like that's the sweet spot pretty much. Minus your, I mean, obviously the Dolphins putting up 70, what I mean? It's like every once in a while that's going to happen, but I mean,
you're right. I mean, you asked about it, and all of us kind of said that 25, and you look at it, and you can view it from two perspectives. Did the offense let you down, or the defense let up too many points? It's like,
could you have scored more or stopped more? And it's like,
exactly. And so
I always want to do more of both.
Yeah. Yep.
And
no, absolutely.
It's funny when you see like that's kind of the sweet spot where you see games. So when you look at your over-unders that you bet money on, and it's like, is the over-under over or under 50?
Yep.
And it's like, because 50 should be pretty much the average.
I would say the average would be like 42.
40. Yeah.
So I think the stat is 44.
Okay.
That's the like
the median of the season.
Statistically of the.
Then there's weather effect, right? The Bills Chiefs game was so much lower because of the weather stuff, and it's like that stuff always plays in the fact the wind, how many field goals are going to be attempted, all the other stuff. But yeah, I mean, still, it's interesting that you bring that up. That's a really good point. I never really thought about that. That we talked about that prior to the playoffs
so long ago, yeah.
And we kind of just hit that 25, and that might be just like league wide. I don't know if we just like all got lucky on a number, but I mean, you're right. I mean, you look back through some of the games on the season, and it's come down right to that number, like. We talked about the score-palooza, like Fancy has said.
Oh, yeah.
It's like, how many times do you think a 27-24 game has happened? It's like, or 24-21, like in that little, it's like, I'm sure it's interesting. I wonder that would be a good thing is what score is the most, like, consistent score, if that makes sense. Like, what is the what is the one that's been scored the most in the NFL history?
Well, what's funny?
Probably 21-17.
Well, when you're talking, I was just gonna say, you see all the analysts, they all have those very similar.
Yeah, 21-17, 24-17,
21 or 24.
Yeah.
And then they have 17 or 20.
Yeah.
Like it's just the way that that's all their, because it's probably most common, to be able to hit.
Very true. Like I said in the beginning, we have 3 games left.
20-17.
20-17 is the most, huh?
10,072 different final scores have been recorded, and 20-17 is.
What?
Hold on, I'm reading it right quick. In the history of the NFL, 1,072 different final scores have been recorded, and 20-17 has happened 274 times.
Wow. So that's why those numbers are always in that margin. Is it's 2 touchdowns and 2 field goals.
It's literally they're all like 3-point. It's all 3-point. The top 4 are all 3-point 3-point scores.
Yep.
Yeah. Wow.
Awesome. Yeah, we have 3 games left. 2 games this weekend, both on Sunday, and then we have the Super Bowl, and then we're all going to be doing nothing for football for a couple months.
Well, wait. What about the merger between the AFL and the XFL? We got that coming up. Let's go.
No thanks.
No thanks.
Yeah,
It's not the
even
same.
fans. It's not the same.
It's not the same.
It's so
but
we got the champ.
So
we got
hard.
the season inaugural football game is going to be the champion of the AFL versus the champion of the XFL, and the champion of the XFL, their coach was a college national championship coach as well. So I mean, we might still see some good football.
Never know. I thought it too before we dive into this game. I thought I saw the funniest thing. You guys probably have heard about it in the past, but like going into so obviously we have the this game's gonna happen. We're gonna have a week off because of the Pro Bowl, and then the Super Bowl happens, right? They said during this week off with the Pro Bowl, they should basically start taking the bottom 2 teams, which would be the Commanders and the is it the Jets? I think the Commanders and the Jets. Maybe it's not Commanders and Jets. Commanders and
Panthers.
Panthers. I'm sorry, yeah, Commanders and Panthers. And basically have them do a Thursday night football game, and like because it's Thursday night football always sucks, right? So it's like let's just get one more toilet bowl in, and the winner gets the number 1 pick. I was like, I love that. Like let's absolutely do that.
Great
like,
idea. Yeah,
I do agree.
Win. Like,
should it be NFC versus AFC though?
I think
or
it's
just bottom 2 period.
Bottom 2 teams in general, because it's like let them just go at it, and then just like see the best. Like, what if we just see the most the highest scoring Thursday night football ever? It's like,
dude,
how many of these teams are actually tanking? You know what I mean?
What if you had like your championship playoffs and then your first round pick playoffs?
Yeah,
and it's like the bottom 6 versus, you know what I mean? Like
like a consolation bracket rather than just a seeding thing.
Yeah, it's like y'all are gonna get that'd be fun.
That'd be interesting. Give us more football.
Then they're gonna want more money, and then we're gonna be stuck
games
paying Deshaun Watson fucking $600 million to watch.
Is that game gonna be on Prime then too?
Oh yeah, it's gonna be bad. So that's the only games that are on Prime.
Bezos wants it. But no. So Sunday, 3:00 Eastern, we got our first matchup. Which I will say, I'm not like I'm more intrigued on watching the next game. Me personally, like I thought this game would be the prime one at the end because of Mahomes and Lamar Jackson MVP run. I thought that would be the night game. I will say that. But I see Fancy took the Chiefs and me and Matt stuck with the Ravens. I saw a vote around the world. The fans want to see a Ravens-Lions. What's projected is the Ravens-49ers, and the script is Chiefs-Lions.
I'm okay with the script.
Okay.
I mean, you're right then if you're the script, yeah.
But I mean, I'm okay. Like
I just don't want the 49ers in.
I want Purdy. I
don't know why.
I want Purdy to win as the last man picked.
Yeah, that'd be cool. I guess I don't really care. I guess I'm wrong. Yeah, I guess I don't really care.
But I want Goff to win because I do want them to literally like outlaw Matt Stafford from the state of Michigan. Like all of his gear is officially contraband. Like I want it. I want it
so bad.
I just think it'd be so funny. Like after what MCDC said about him not wanting to see the jerseys, it's like Goff takes him, and then Goff is like, no, he's not joking.
Dude, I saw a video, Matt. I mean, obviously we're not talking about the Lions game right now, but I saw a video. It was like yesterday, the day before. It was like 2 years ago. They announced Dan Campbell as the head coach, and he walked into the facility, and obviously he was a part of the 0-16 team as a tight end, right? And he walked back to the facility, and that was during COVID, so they had the face mask on and everything, and he walked in. It was just getting so emotional. He's like, "I'm gonna make you guys so proud. Like I'm gonna bring this place back to what it should be." And they were like, "We believe in you. Like we absolutely." And it's like I'm sure there's probably plenty of people that have said that, and it's it only is cool when you look back on it and they actually did it. Because look at Josh Rosen, the quarterback that the Cardinals picked. Everyone that got picked in front of him, he said they're gonna regret. And where the fuck is that dude at now?
Right.
It's
didn't he say he was gonna bring multiple championships?
Yeah, multiple championships back to Arizona. I don't even think he played multiple games. If I'm being honest, But Chiefs Ravens, we'll let me and Matt go first because me and Matt picked the Ravens here. Matt, let me hear your speech on the Ravens here and why you went with them in this matchup.
Yep. So we talked about it a little bit. You kind of challenged me about Lamar and whether he can, kind of take over, right? My position was, we kind of see the running game take over, and so you don't see him as much. Well, what did we see in this last game? We saw 100 yards. We saw 11 carries. We saw 2 touchdowns on the ground out of him. That's the Lamar we need to see. If he can do that as well as in the past game, he threw a nice one to Likely. He was still throwing the ball, but if you have that dual threat of he ran for 100 yards and 2 touchdowns, you know what I mean? Like, to me, that's the MVP Lamar that can dominate a game. And I mean, to be honest, the Chiefs did not look great again.
No, they still look beatable.
Yeah, and then on top of that, the defense, we talked about it. We said the defense was the number one defense still left in this playoffs, right? We picked the Ravens. I think they again kind of surprised me a little bit because I thought the Texans were going to be hot still. And they were able to shut them down. I mean, again, you talked about it. They kind of shot themselves in the foot a little bit. But
the second half they got shut down. You're absolutely right.
Yeah, but the Ravens shut them down, and I think combine the struggles with the Chiefs and the Ravens defense looking that good, we could see the Chiefs,
all-time low scoring,
basically being completely shut down as well. And if that happens, all it's going to take is a couple, maybe we'll see another 5 field goal game out of Justin Tucker, or maybe it was 6. Yeah, 6. I think he had 6. If we see
49ers in that matchup, wasn't it?
So
was it 49ers or was it Dolphins?
I don't remember which game it was specifically, but yeah. So we might see that again where all they need to do is even just kick those field goals if defense is that hot and shut down the Chiefs.
Absolutely. That's my biggest thing is with that. It was a fun fact about Lamar Jackson too, which I knew I felt like it. And I found out there's a reason why I felt the way I did last week when we talked about that, where I kind of felt like he doesn't influence games as much as people feel like he's winning. And fun fact, that was his first time he scored a touchdown in the playoffs that wasn't in the fourth quarter. That's why mentally I'm thinking when I watch these games, it's like you almost feel like this guy never does anything. It's always the run game or something else,
Mm-hmm.
It's like that's why I felt like that. Now he played great. I'm not going to deny that, but that's why I felt the way that I did is because of that stat. Like it's like almost one of those things where it's like they won that game, but like what did Lamar do besides hand the football off? That's how I've always felt. But I mean, they said last week if they beat the Texans, that Mark Andrews has been at practice, that he's back in. I don't know if he's going to play this week. I don't know if it's been announced yet or not. But if they can get past the Chiefs, Mark Andrews gets another week, right, with a Pro Bowl, and he's going to be there for the Super Bowl then. And it's like then this team is. I mean, you talk about that's Lamar Jackson's number one receiver. That's like Mahomes getting Kelsey back. That's what it basically is. It's his top guy that he targets the most. That gets them. I mean, he's their top receiver every single season. It's like so. This team is going to just be firing on all cylinders once they get Super Bowl. It's one of those things where, I understand why you're going with the Ravens, Matt. But kind of like the one time that I asked you, it's like. I think it was. Did you take the Bucks? I think when against the Eagles, and then I was like, "Are you doing that so that way you don't have to play the Eagles? Or are you doing that like because you believe them back?" And you said a little of both. So I thought maybe this week you're going to go Chiefs, just because I think the Lions would match up better against the Chiefs than the Ravens, because we did see, not being funny, we did see what the Ravens did to the Lions in the regular season at home. Now this would be in the Super Bowl, so it's a little bit different, but we saw that team with a healthy Mark Andrews and a healthy run game and it was scary. I mean, it's the scariest team in the league by far. But yeah, that Ravens defense was unbelievable against the Texans. And when I was watching them, besides the Texans shooting themselves in the foot as much as they did, when I was watching that defense, man, it gave me flashbacks back to that Ray Lewis defense. I was like, good Lord, man, they are out there. I mean, they're everywhere. Every time there was a pass, and the guy's right on them. Every time there was an open field, someone smoked them. It's like I don't know who their defensive coordinator is, or if he's got head coaching interviews going on or what. But I mean, that defense, when you really get to sit down, you hear about teams and you hear about how the way they play, but until you get to sit down, unless it's your own team, and actually watch them play, you get to see that defense play the way they did. I was very, very impressed. And if I'm a Chiefs fan, I'm concerned with that shaky offense and that shaky team going into this game against the Ravens.
Those are all very good points, but we all know the referees love the Chiefs.
I was hoping you would start. I
Right?
literally had fingers crossed that you were hoping, like, we all know Mahomes has refs. Like, I was
And
hoping.
and the Chiefs don't make that many mistakes. And if the Ravens start off slow like they did,
Absolutely.
only reason why they were still in the game was by the Texans stubbing their toe so many times. You give Pat Mahomes and Andy Reid that kind of leeway in the first half, there might not be enough time in the second half to catch back up.
Yeah.
And that's what I saw. It's like, man, if the Texans were able to capitalize or reduce the mistakes, the Ravens did come out, but they may not have been able to capitalize and or make up enough ground. And I think the Chiefs are going to be able to maintain a lead with a slow start. I mean, two of my favorite active head coaches in the NFL that's not on my team. You know what I mean? Like, I love both these guys. I think they're absolute geniuses, and I'm excited for it. And I think the scheme is what I'm more excited for, not so much a quarterback matchup, but I want to see what these coaches have in mind for how to stop one another. Because
I
this
am
is
interested to see how Andy Reid is going to match up. Like, he knows this defense is the defense. This is going to be the toughest
Mhm.
defense they've played all year, and they've
Mhm.
struggled against some really bad defenses. So, what
Mhm.
is he going to come up with that exposes this Ravens defense? Or, I mean, honestly, we don't give enough credit to the Chiefs defense. I mean, the Chiefs defense has been the best Mahomes in the Mahomes era. I mean, it's the
Yeah,
best
this is
defense.
a real defense. You're right, and all year long they have been not talked about, and I mean, I blame that on Taylor Swift, but they
Fair.
they are legit. And
Oh, they
while
absolutely are.
it's hard to stop the Kobe Bryant of the NFL, and I only say that because he does do it all without winning a bunch of stuff. Like, Kobe Bryant was the GOAT. Everybody called him a ball hog. Sometimes you have to be the ball hog to win, and that's Lamar Jackson. You know what I mean? It's like he runs it himself a lot because he's like, I'll just do it myself,
Yeah.
and that's fine. That's why they're here again. Like, he's in the MVP talks for a reason, and but that can only carry you so far.
Absolutely.
Zay Flowers, all those guys, I think they do have a great game. I don't think it's a blowout. I,
I can see it being really low scoring, man. I really can.
Yeah, I do too. I see a lot of like third and like sixes
And two
where it's
great
just
kickers,
like,
man.
yeah,
Two great
oh
kickers,
yeah,
Butker and,
yeah.
and
I
Tucker.
don't even know what that is. We don't.
So I mean, that's honestly that's how this game should end. It would only be fitting of one of the two
Tucker kicking a
teams.
78-yarder.
Yeah,
Oh,
either one of them, they have the leg on them, right?
Against the
Rips
wind,
Huffy
yeah.
and Smokey's heart out of their chest.
I would love to see a 57-yard field goal
Right down the middle.
to win it, and it's
Packers and Bucks fans just
with the
depressed watching.
flags just blowing like
yeah, and
straight
it's just a
sideways, and it
perfect
just
one, middle of
just
the net,
dialed in.
so it's good from 70.
Cronus plugged in.
I think that's how we're gonna see this game end.
That's your
Up, down,
prediction
up,
then?
down,
Is
left, right.
going to end on a game-winning field goal?
57-yarder.
57-yarder game-winning field goal. Matt dials it in right now.
So Matt takes Ravens on a 57-yarder for the win.
Yep.
I'm taking Chiefs by 7. Because they're going to try to kick the game-winning field goal. It's going to fall short, and they're going to run it back.
Just the most ridiculous.
All right,
the way
these are
Auburn beat
bold-
Bama.
I've got Mahomes throwing a pick. That guy fumbling it, then going back.
the way Auburn beat Bama in the Iron Bowl in 2013. That's the way the Chiefs beat the Ravens.
Dude.
Kick six.
Yep.
In all seriousness,
Kick
before we
6.
move on to the next game, we haven't done this all season, but with only 2 games left, we were just talking about the scoring threshold. Give me the final score right now. Matt, go ahead.
All right.
Obviously, the Ravens winning.
So I'm gonna say I see him scoring 3 touchdowns. It's 21 and 2 field goals.
27.
So 27. So that means 27-24.
Wow. So he's going that same threshold of the Chiefs and Bills. It's going to be the same thing, but reverse. Now, on the game-winning kick, 24-24, Justin Tucker, 57 yards. You heard it here. Talked with him, Reach. Matt.
Got
There
it.
you go. Fancy? You got the fucking Esky or Etchy sketch fucking.
Yeah, fucking. Give me a
He's like,
moment to
I don't
dial
want
it in,
that
boys.
score now. Yeah. He's like, I don't need that one now.
Yeah, yeah. I've tried to do the one that dials that teach you how to
Dude,
torture your girlfriend.
Those were amazing. Oh.
What was that?
I've got KC winning by a field goal, 2017.
20-17.
The field goal that Matt initially talked about doesn't make it to push to overtime. That's my honest, like, that's what I really think would happen.
You just looked at the scoring, and so now you're giving us the most common score.
Oh yeah, and let me wait till I get to the next game.
Yeah, I'm gonna go 21-17 Ravens. 24-17. Let me change that. 24-17 because there's no way Justin Tucker doesn't kick a field goal. So 24-17.
All right.
24-17.
Okay.
That's what I got.
Okay.
And then we have the game of Matt's life.
We're here.
Really, might be the last time he sees it. This might be the Cowboys of the North.
This might be the Chicago Cubs of the NFL.
I mean, we're at that. We're at that right now, aren't we? Of getting here, so
yeah, you might as well do it. I mean, why not? All three of us rallied with you, Matt.
Appreciate it.
This is your platform. This is your weekend, your game, your highlight, your team. Talk to us.
All right.
Give it to us.
Dan Campbell, don't
take no shit.
Don't change. You know what I mean? Don't change what you've been doing. It's
big hairy nuts down the throat.
I think he should take the points when you can get them.
We're at this point. If you look at his locker room speeches, I mean, they're so heartfelt. They're so, he gets his team rallied behind him, playing for the city, playing with that grit. Is his mantra that he's been talking about. How, we still have people that we got to prove wrong, and we still got to keep this thing going. Trust me, we're absolutely happy to be where we're at, but our sights are on doing something that we've never been able to do before. I think he's got every single player playing at 110, and they'll throw their body on the line every play to get it done for him. And again, we've played at an unbelievable level, so far. And I think San Francisco has shown that they do struggle at times. I think if Aiden Hutchinson can get to Purdy a couple more times, and kind of rattle him a little bit, we might see Sam Darnold have to jump in there. I don't know. I think this is it. This is our year. Yes, it's my hometown pick, but at the same time, they're playing for absolutely everything. And I think that's something that can carry you through a really tough game like this.
Yeah. Fancy?
It's funny because I like MCDC, and I think everybody likes MCDC. And he talked about going to make you proud. And just what he's done here is enough to make him proud with an overall losing record. It's like overall, it's like you're under 500, and yet you have an entire
city.
I mean, state and half
country.
Of the NFL. Yeah, it's like you have got everybody.
Least, yeah.
You've got like probably 90% of the Pat McAfee listeners that are like also MCDC fans because of the way you talk to the guys, because of the locker room speeches that Matt just talked about, like everything about that. It's like you are like a guy's guy. You're you're the players coach. Like they love that shit.
Yeah. The epitome.
And that's
of a
why.
coach.
Yeah, I mean, it's absolutely like and to go back to the game we talked about before, as far as active coaches currently, like I'm like, dude, MCDC is one of those guys, man. I'm like, I love him. People I'd like to have a dinner with. It's like, let me talk to you. It'd be great. And dude, I got Detroit down. I got him by 10.
Wow.
I got him by 10.
Love it.
31-21. I got him by 10. I think the fourth quarter is where they make the gap. I think it's a tight fucking game, and I think they finish off. I think that's where we see the way the Packers kind of fell off and couldn't hang in there. The Lions do the opposite, and that's when they just finish it off. Goff finally snuffs out the last little ember of Matt Stafford in Michigan forever, and they rename it.
They're gonna ban the name Matt in Michigan.
They're gonna, and as they should.
Well,
actually,
I mean, you guys keep saying that, but you didn't live through him being the quarterback. He actually changed his name to Matthew, and had the media continue to call him Matthew Stafford. So, can you guys please at least do that for him?
They're gonna call it Goff-Troit.
A fun thing when you mentioned the score, that I'll get into my side of Detroit there in a second. But I meant to mention it to you, Fancy. Did you see? I still blame this on the announcers. It's like when a perfect game is going on in baseball and the announcers say something.
Oh yeah,
it's like when it's like 40 for 40 on these field goals. It's like you don't. And
Goff hasn't thrown an interception all year.
And then he threw a pick that drive. Yeah, literally, it happened to Carson Wentz's rookie year too, where he didn't throw a pick, and then the minute he said it, he threw a pick. I'm like, stop.
Driftwood talked about that. But
at halftime, Kyle Shanahan is 0-30 down. You guys were the first win he's ever had going into his second half being down points. And the minute they put that up there and I saw 0-30, I was like, you motherfuckers. Like, I might as well just win a live bet.
What do they call it? The commentator's curse? Yeah.
Yeah, dude. I was like, you motherfuckers. You showed that on purpose, And
that's a script. That's a script right in itself.
And so with this game, 31-21, I can see that happening. I could see that. Like, that would not surprise me.
So pick it.
The biggest thing for me is going to be, like, the Fancy, on a real note, like you said, take the points. This is the 49ers. They have an elite defense. They have an elite offense. This is going to be one of the best teams you guys play all year round. And you guys have struggled a little bit against those top teams, right? In my opinion, you guys haven't beaten someone in playoffs yet that are at that elite status. I don't think the Rams are elite. I think they were a couple years ago. I don't think the Bucs are elite. You know what I mean? It's like you haven't played that juggernaut team yet where it's like, you just got to take the points. None of this, 4th and 5 fake punt on our own 30, or going for a 2-point conversion 3 times after getting a false start and a PI. Like, it's like you got to take what's there. And it's like, if I'm the owner, if I'm the GM, I'm telling that to him too. Like, hey man, we love you. We love what you stand for, but like, we need you to be you.
I'll give you 3 times to do it.
Yeah.
And you pick when you use them.
There's got to be a limit, but I think you get Monty going. I think you get Gibbs going. Matt, you guys signed Zach Ertz, which is a great addition. With that tight end spot being banged up with Sam Laporta and Brock, and that adds great. He's been there before. He's won a Super Bowl. He's one of the top tight ends in NFL history. So that's great for not only to have him as depth guy, but also to kind of mentor the guys in the locker room as well.
Help bring them in.
Yeah, it's definitely a good move. And it's hard to go against. It's hard to go against Lions. I wish you guys would have had the number 1 seed, because I would have loved to see what that place looked like in the NFC Championship.
Yeah.
Especially having the same record. It's not like you guys are different, records. So it's like I would have loved to see that. I think that would have been the cherry on top for you guys. But yeah, I think you guys go into San Francisco and you guys let them down. And I think we're going to see Brock Purdy. I think the Lions get up early on them, and I think you're going to see Brock Purdy throw at least 2 interceptions. And I think the Lions come away with it 31-27.
31-27. Wow.
I'll take 34-0.
Do it, or you're not really a fan. You're not even.
I would love that. Let's see.
Those games make me panic more.
28.
Like when the Packers were beating the Cowboys, they were up so much, and then they kept letting up points. I'm like, God, please, hold
16 points so fast. I was like, come on, guys.
Yeah, I'm like, let's just waste some clock.
to go back on that right quick, I wanted nothing more. Like once that happened, because it was like 48-16 with like 6 minutes left. I was like, damn, because I wanted nothing more than the Packers to hang 50 on Jerry at his house.
Yeah, in the
And
Jerry
then they
world.
let up a lot of points. I was like, "Fucking do it! Like finish him!"
Yeah, yeah, for real.
I was like, "Please."
So far in the playoffs, though, Fancy's on fire. 6-4, Matt at 5-5, and then me at 4-6. So if me and Matt both are correct this week, Matt, you would move to 7-5. I would move to 6-6, and Fancy would move to 7-5, which means basically it'd come down to the Super Bowl for us, and it'd all be within one game. So it's like, you know what I mean? We could all come up with a tie. We could all, yeah. So
and I have the Lions winning it all, so I could take it over from there.
you could if Fancy goes against you.
If
Because if he ties
Chiefs,
you, just
if the Chiefs lose, you need the Chiefs to lose. Otherwise, it's over, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
No.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yes. I misunderstood you. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. If the Chiefs win, which will be the first game, then I'm the overall winner of everything this whole podcast. So
yeah, you're the best.
pretty much. That's exactly what I said.
Yeah. So just go ahead and write that in the books. First overall winner of everything ever. Inaugural.
So
yeah.
So one thing, now that all of that is taken care of on the matchups, when we broke that stuff down, we'll get into a couple things, not too crazy. But if you're the Atlanta Falcons, how do you pass up on Bill Belichick?
I want to know.
Is it money? Is it what went wrong? Did he want too much of like the GM control and they didn't want to let it happen because they saw what happened in New England? Like what?
Yeah, what could he have been asking for?
They were interviews, so there was
they were scared off by what happened in New England, i.e., AFC championships and Super Bowl wins. Like it's like,
well, then it was a wreck.
We don't want that.
Then it was a wreck. And now it's
it was a wreck. Of course,
the Patriots are going to be done for the next 5-10 years, right? It's like,
why would you not want the coach that came back from a 28-3 or 25-3
on
Super
your
Bowl?
own team?
Yeah, like it's like.
So I think what must have happened is, as part of that contract talk, he must have said, they must have said, hey, what do you want to do in the draft? Or, if you got the spot, what would you want to do? And he probably said, I want trade all my picks. I want a 6th round punter or something like that.
Yeah. A 6th round wide receiver that's not even playing football, but he played in high school and now he's throwing bales at fucking a farm that I saw driving down the street while I was driving here, and I want to pick him up.
Or did he say, you know what, I've been talking with Brady, thinking about getting him back in here, take
I
over.
Got Gronk on the line
relevant again. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's great.
Bill is the type of person that literally is waiting for the AFL XFL fucking combo, because that is like where he likes people.
Yeah.
He's like, stay healthy, keep playing the game so I can pick you up for $1.
Yeah.
It's like, dude,
10 cents on the dollar. Let me just get you to come play for me.
Literally, he's like, trust me.
Yeah.
Like, I know what I'm looking for.
Yeah.
And which to when you talk about coaches, and something I've wanted to see so bad, and I don't know if he would do good, but Bob Stoops, coach of the Dallas, whatever the fuck they were, won the fucking first championship, whatever. Bob, OU former head coach, national championship winner. I would love to see him maybe get in the NFL scene, and we have all these openings. I don't know if the Titans have announced. What they announce?
They announced it. I'm not
DC,
sure.
DC, right, or something like that.
Well, so that's what I was just trying to look at when I saw that they signed somebody.
So as of right now, just to name them off, the Falcons signed the defensive coordinator from the Rams. I'm not sure on his name. The Eagles signed
Morris. It's Raheem Morris.
Okay, and then the Eagles signed Vic Fangio as their defensive coordinator, which I love. The Commanders are signing the Buccaneers.
Sirianni's still staying as of right now.
Yes, he will. He will be staying. They just fired everything around him.
Okay, I like that.
And then the Commanders are signing the Bucs offensive coordinator. Jim Harbaugh is going to the Chargers. That's official.
Yeah.
So we still have coaching positions, I believe, with the Titans. We still have it with nothing's being said about the Jets. I'm not sure what's going on there. Nothing's been said. And then I'm pretty sure the Cardinals are keeping with what they have. But lots of coordinators going around. Your guys' offensive coordinator, Matt, is also interviewing with a lot of teams as well.
Yeah, offensive and defensive. Glenn as well. I mean, they're They're getting the interviews, but
you guys made the Super Bowl, man. We're the class A example of that. Is we made it to the Super Bowl, and then our offensive coordinator and our defensive coordinator signed head coaching jobs at other places, and then our team went to shit. So it's definitely a nervous thing to think about because you have everything, you have every right piece, and then you lose every piece. So it's kind of a low blow the next year around when all of a sudden it's like, what is going on? We have the same everything and nothing's working now.
When you've had that much success, and then
so, the rumor is right now, for us at least, we got Vic Fangio, which I love because in the last 10 years he's had like 7 of the top 5 defenses as a defensive coordinator, which is unbelievable. He's a great defensive coordinator, terrible head coach. Some people are terrible head coaches but great coordinators, and some people are terrible coordinators but great head coaches. I mean,
listen. Do you know how many Lions head coaches, tried their shot at being a head coach, and then they're having success? You see Schwartz's defense of as a defensive coordinator, his teams.
Yeah. Look at Matt Nagy. Matt Nagy went to the Bears, couldn't do nothing with the Bears. Then next year he goes and he's the quarterback and offensive coordinator thing for the Chiefs, and they won Super Bowl. I mean, granted, it's probably most Mahomes, but these guys have success, right? So the Eagles are supposed to go after Vic Fangio, and then they're interviewing Cliff Kingsbury, which I love. And then they're also supposed to be going after that. What is that? Eric Bieniemy or whatever he was from the Chiefs before Nagy, and then he went to the Commanders this season, which why you saw Sam Howell throw 4,000 passing yards. Is he had him in his new scheme, but he only signed in 1 year. So the Eagles are also interviewing him as well, which I'd love to see him basically just get offensive coordinator and then be our play caller, and then take Vic Fangio and like make him our play caller, and then just have Nick Sirianni just be a head coach and just don't let anyone else touch play calling besides those two guys. Like that'd be the most ideal thing for me. But
I thought you said post Mahomes. I was like, what?
So from everything you're saying, like the two anomalies to me are, is Bill Belichick gonna actually have a landing spot? You know what I mean? Like all these moves,
that's what I said too. Is
all these moves are getting made.
Oh, and the Raiders officially signed Pierce, so they're done. They're not looking. So it's like
Vrabel, and where the heck's Vrabel gonna go?
So where's Vrabel and Bill Belichick? Which I thought those are the 2 top candidates, honestly, in my opinion. So and the Vikings. I mean, you go through conferences, right? Start with the NFC North. Vikings aren't getting rid of O'Connell. The Bears aren't getting rid of their guy. They've already announced it. You guys aren't getting rid of Dan Campbell anytime soon. And the Packers aren't getting rid of LaFleur or whatever the fuck is, or whatever the hell his name is.
LaFleur, yeah.
And then so NFC East, Nick Sirianni's staying. Mike McCarthy's staying. The Commanders just signed, or they're going to sign the
Moser or Raheem. What did you say?
No. That was so they're signing the Bucks offensive coordinator. And then the Giants, I think, are just staying with their guy as well. So then you go to the NFC South, where you got the Bucks. They're going to stay with Todd Bowles. Why would they not stay with Todd Bowles? They just took him to the playoffs. The Saints, they talked about it. They just haven't done anything yet because they were in debate of it, right? And then you got
they're doing a player coach situation where Jameis Winston is just taking over, right?
I absolutely hope so.
Okay.
And then you got the Panthers. And I don't know what the hell they're gonna do. Bill's not going there. Vrabel's not going there.
No shot.
And then the Falcons just signed their guy, right? So and then you got what, the NFC West. 49ers aren't getting rid of Kyle Shanahan.
Well, wait. Did the Seahawks?
No, the Seahawks. And I heard this.
Yeah.
And I heard this. Pete Carroll threw his name in the ring. He said that
to still be head coach.
Yes, he said that he's open to the right job in the NFL to be a head coach at the moment. It just came out like this week. It came out, so
he might leave that consulting spot to go somewhere.
I think they forced him into it. They said you could take this or you can get out, and he just took it. And then now it's like he's kind of throwing his name out there. But it's so Seattle's still kind of open, which I think Vrabel or Bill would fit decently well. Is like in that area. I just think it's a tough division. The Cardinals are staying with their guy, and the Rams aren't getting rid of Sean McVay. So that's the entire NFC right there that I just listed off, right? So then you look at AFC. We'll start with the AFC North, right? The Browns, they're not going anywhere. That guy's not going anywhere. I forgot his name, but he's not going anywhere. Mike Tomlin still up for debate. We don't know what he's doing. Harbaugh is not going anywhere anytime soon. He's been there for gosh knows how long, right? And then you got the Bengals, which he's not going anywhere either. So that's the AFC. That's the AFC North right there. AFC East, Jets, we think that they're going to keep Robert Saleh or whatever, right? Why get rid of him? There's no reason to. And then the Patriots already signed Gerard Mayo. And then you got the Dolphins, who aren't going on from McDaniels. And then you got the Bills, who aren't going away from Sean McDermott.
So Are we sure they're not going to go away from McDermott?
Yeah, absolutely. They brought him. He basically took them from nothing to something. So that you stay with that guy. And then then you got the AFC West. Andy Reid not going anywhere. Jim Harbaugh already filled the Chargers spot. Maybe Sean Payton in Denver. Maybe, but I don't think he's going anywhere anytime soon.
That's a weird spot, but I don't think
so. Then the Raiders they officially took Pierce. So then all you're looking at is the AFC South, which is the Colts, which they're keeping their guy they announced. And then you got Tennessee, who we still don't know about. And then you have the
Tennessee gets Bill.
You have the Jags, which I don't think it's a coaching thing. I think Doug Peterson is still great there. And then you got the Texans, which is DeMeco Ryans. He just took them there. So besides Seattle, besides Tennessee and Carolina, who nobody wants to touch unless you're just desperate for a job at that point, right? It's like, so we have Pete Carroll, Bill Belichick, and Mike Vrabel with maybe one or two teams left.
All right, so why don't we do this? I don't want it to happen, but let's let Aaron Glenn take a spot that's open, and let's take Vrabel as our defensive coordinator. I'll take it, right? Or Bill can come over.
Do they downgrade? Because I've seen Doug Peterson, he took a year off, right? The Eagles let him go. He didn't go nowhere. Then the next year he went to Jacksonville. So does Mike Vrabel know his worth, and does Bill Belichick obviously know his worth of just I'm not going to a coordinator spot. I'm not going to a quarterback's coach, offensive line. I'm not doing that shit. I'm waiting for a head coach job that's going to be opened up during the middle of the season or, at the end of next season. And it's it's going to get real thin here on where these guys can go. Because I thought Bill Atlanta was locked after the second interview. I was like, that's what.
That's history.
So, just looking through all that, I just went through the AFC and NFC, and there's not much spots left.
Yeah, now that you say that, that's kind of weird because to me,
Vrabel feels more open than you think.
Yeah,
Vrabel all the names flying around, and
it's weird. You're seeing Mayo, you're seeing
even the guy from the Rams. Not that the Rams defense is not that bad, but I just didn't view him as a head. His name did not pop out at me so much that he should have been a head coach.
Also, I heard that Cliff Kingsbury is back actively looking for a offensive
coordinator. Offensive coordinator. He interviewed with the Bears, the Eagles, and I think the Dolphins.
Yeah.
So, but they said the Bears because Caleb Williams. That's what I said. We talked about last.
Right.
Caleb Williams. So they know he's not. They saw the Cliff Kingsbury in Arizona. And it was awful, but they saw what he did as an offensive coordinator prior to that, and what he did at USC. So, obviously he can get it done. But we'll keep you guys updated on where everyone goes, but that's kind of where it's at right now. We have our last segment coming up here, though, with trivia with Matt's. So we'll head on over there.
All right, trivia time. Trying to stick with the theme of playoffs. Trying to stick with a question of the championship round. Is your hint, guys? So for this question, it's kind of a two-parter. You can name both or either, however you want to separate out. But which division and team has the most losses in the NFC Championship game?
And NFC North Packers.
And that's the Super Bowl era. So what was it?
NFC North Packers.
Okay. What do you think, Fancy?
I feel like I've seen you guys lose so many times in my lifetime.
We have lost quite a bit.
I can't think of any other team that's been there consistently as much besides you and the 49ers.
Yeah, well, it might have been the Niners also, because I think we both have 4 Super Bowls.
So most losses.
But I'm trying to think. I think I've only seen us lose. I think we lost only once in the 90s. I think twice. So 3 times that I can think of. I can only I've only got 3 times coming to mind, and so I'm trying to think if anybody else has went 3 times and lost more.
I'm also thinking you're also got to think division too.
Right.
So I'm thinking, didn't you guys beat the Bears? So that counts as one. The Vikings had definitely lost at some point. I don't know.
Which division and team has the most losses?
They're like,
I'm trying to think of the most losing division.
But this might be a dumb question. Like, can they be different, Matt? Like, if I pick NFC North, it has to be an NFC North team, right?
No, I feel like they could be different. Yeah, I mean, obviously, you're going to have a team that's going to kind of push that division probably, but it doesn't necessarily mean.
Okay, well, I'll go Packers with the NFC Championship losses, but then maybe division, I'll go NFC East.
I like that.
For a while there, the Giants and Cowboys.
I like that.
Like we're losing.
So I mean, you guys, come on. Who's asking the question? And who's playing in the NFC Championship?
Oh, so it's fucking NFC North and the Lions.
No, so it's the opposite. I want the trend to continue of the San Francisco 49ers losing. And so it's NFC West.
North.
No, it's the West, and it's the 49ers. Green Bay was a close second though.
Okay. I knew they were up there.
Yeah. So
not as like a jab to the Packers, but just because you guys have been around for so damn long. Like it's like
absolutely.
It's like who has the most losses. Well, it's like we also have the most fucking games played. It's like
well, that's exactly what it is too. So I pulled that stat out because I'm hoping San Francisco
to add one more to them.
Yep, San Francisco
loses. And not to retrack and like bring that all back up, but it's like you start thinking like, when are the 49ers due? Because they went there and they lost to the Chiefs, and then last year they went there and they had their quarterback get hurt. You know, Jimmy G got hurt. Brock Purdy comes in, he gets hurt in the game.
Yeah,
you know,
last year, I feel like last year would have been their year,
right?
For sure,
and so it's like you got all this power on that offense. Like, you know, you wonder what happens. It's like if they don't win this year, they just all of a sudden just start getting rid of guys and start to do something else. Because this clearly the Kittle, McCaffrey, Purdy, Debo, Ayuk, all these guys, they're just not working. It's something's not working. You know, so
yeah, it could
be asked for sure.
And then for AFC, I wanted to try to ask you something for the Chiefs and the Ravens. But unfortunately, they're both 500. So that didn't really
pan out for you.
Help you out there, but
all good. That was still a good thing. Me and Fancy were kind of on the right path with 49ers, Packers, and
we
didn't have NFC West. I didn't have that in my book, but
I didn't think about anybody else in the NFC West being there besides the Niners.
Yeah. But yeah, that's all we got here. You guys got anything else to put in before the championship round?
No, just excited to throw on my Amon-Ra jersey again. And
I remember Rodgers losing again to the fucking Hail Mary to the fucking Cardinals just to lose.
Dude, Carson
to
Palmer,
Fitzgerald. Dude.
Now you're gonna make Fancy go to bed crying and fucking all.
Buddy, I didn't mean flash.
Matt's riding his high. He's like,
now he like brought it back up. I'm like,
he's kicking his all over down. He's like, this feels so great. And me and Paige are like, all right, like,
yeah, like actually now I remember that. I just buried that. Like I need to call my therapist.
But let us know in the comments though. You know, we finally did that cool thing of our projections of the score as well. We'll see if any of us nail it or get close to it. But let us know in the comments too if you guys want to join in and just add more. With limited games that are left, it's a fun little thing to do just to add more than just your pick in the game. Just to have a little more fun with it. So let us know in the comments what you guys think the ending scores of those games will be. Make sure you guys are following us on our socials. We'll be more active this week on YouTube Shorts and stuff like that as well. Other than that, I got nothing else to say, boys. You guys
down the field.
Yeah.
Happy for the last couple games.
Yep. Happy for the last couple games. And hope you guys have a great weekend. Later.
Bye.